Good morning Year 8 and welcome to today's maths lesson. Let's start off with today's starter. The first question I'm asking you is, can you find 5 to the power 3, so 5 cubed? Can you then simplify the ratio 6 to 18? Can you solve the equation 4x equals 16? And can you have a go at factorising 4x plus 8? Factorise just means put it into brackets. Pause the video and have a go at these questions in your light blue books now, please. Right, let's go through the answers. For the first one, 5 to the power 3 just means 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 gives me 25, times 5 gives me what, Violet? 125, very wise. To simplify a ratio, we simplify a ratio in the same way we would simplify a fraction. So we need to divide both sides by the same number. You could have chosen 2, you could have chosen 3. I'm going to choose 6. If I divide both sides of my ratio by 6, I'm left with 1, 2, 3. I can now no longer divide either side by the same number and get a whole number, so it's now fully simplified. For the next question, I asked you to solve 4x is equal to 16. What do I need to do to both sides of my equation to give me just x on its own on the left-hand side, Emily? I need to divide both sides of my equation by 4, exactly. If I divide both sides of my equation by 4, I'm left with x is equal to 4, and that's my solution. And for the final question, I asked you to factorise 4x plus 8. Now we need to look at the two numbers and find the highest number that goes into both 4 and 8. Now I can write 4 as 1 times 4, or 2 times 2. I could write 8 as 1 times 8. Or I could write it as 4 times 2. So the biggest number that goes into both 4 and 8 is 4. So that's the number that goes on the outside of my brackets. If that's outside of my brackets, Ollie, what goes in my bracket? Exactly 4x, because 4 times x gives me 4x, plus 2. Because 4 times 2 would give me 8. Let's head into today's lesson. We're going to go through inequalities again, and we're going to start with a quick recap. So there are 4 different inequality signs. There's these 2 blue ones and these 2 red ones. Now when you see an inequality sign, wherever the larger side of the inequality is, that's where the larger number is going to be, and wherever the smaller pointier end is, that's where the smaller number is going to be. For example, this first inequality means greater than. So any number on this side here, for example x, is greater than any number on the other side. For example, x is greater than 2 could be written as x is greater than 2, just like that. And that means that x could be any number as long as it's larger than 2. It could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 5, any of those numbers that are larger than 2. If we've got a half an equal sign underneath, that means greater than or equal to. For example, if I wanted to write x is greater than or equal to 2, I would write it like so. X is greater than or equal to 2. That means x could be 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., etc. The other type of inequality symbol we came across was this one, the red ones. And the first one means less than. So if I have x on the smaller side of this one, it means any value of x that x can take will be less than the number that's on the other side. For example, if I wanted to say x was less than 2, I would write it like this. And this would tell me that x could be 1, 0, -1, any number that is less than 2. The final inequality was this one, less than or equal to. For example, if I wanted to write x is less than or equal to 2, I would write it like so, and that means x could be 2, 1, 0, -1, etc., etc. 4 different inequalities. Let's see if we can work with them. Okay, Year 8, can you pause the video for 5 minutes and in your light blue books, have a go at matching each of these inequalities to the correct description, and for each one, can you list me 5 possible integers that x could take? For example, if x is greater than 4, it could be 5, 6, 7, 8, etc. Pause the video and complete that in your light blue books now, please. Okay, let's go through the answers. So the first one, x is on the bigger side than the 4, so x is greater than 4, so we match it up with this one. And greater than 4 means it could be 5, it could be 6, 7, 8, 100. For the second one, I've got x is less than or equal to 4, so that matches up with this one. And that means x could be 4, 3, 2, 1, -100. Any of those numbers would work. For the next one, I've got x is less than 4, so it matches with this one. This means x could be 3, can't be 4, but it could be 3, 2, 1, -100. And for the last one, I've got x is greater than or equal to 4, so x could be 4, 5, 6, 7, 1,000,000, any number that's greater than or equal to 4. Okay, Year 8, mini whiteboards for me. Can you write me the inequality, x is greater than 3, and give me 5 examples of what it could be? Pause the video, write down your answer in your light blue book or on your mini whiteboard now, please. Okay, x is greater than 3 would look like this, and that means x could be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, any of those numbers would work. How about now, x is less than 3, how are you going to write that one? Great, it's going to look like this. And examples could be 2, 1, 0, -1, -2, any number less than but not equal to 3. How about now, pause the video, light blue books. Okay, I've got x is less than or equal to 3, so it's going to look like this. Bradley, can you give me 5 integers we could get this time? Indeed, we could have 3, 2, 1, 0, -1. This time we can include 3 because we've got half of that equal sign, but then any number less than 3. And finally, Year 8, can you write me the inequality x is less than or equal to -3 and give me 5 examples of integers? Off you go. Okay, hopefully you'll have all written this one. X is less than or equal to -3. And examples could be -3, because it could be equal to it, -4, -5, -6, any numbers less than or equal to -3. Okay, Year 8, please pause the video for 10 minutes and in your light blue books, can you write down an inequality for each of these? I've written out what it is, so it says x is greater than 8. What would that look like as an inequality? And if you're confident, have a go at my extension question at the bottom for me. Please pause the video and complete those questions now. And these are the answers to the first part. Please check your work and see how you did. And these were my extension questions answers. The first one was equals, the second one you should have had greater than, and the third one you should have had greater than. Okay, Year 8, let's have a go at putting these onto number lines. So first of all, I'm going to tell you that if you see a filled in dot on a number line, it means whatever number that dot is on, that number is included, okay? If you see an empty circle, that means whatever number that dot is on, that number is excluded. We're not including it. So if I've got the inequality x is greater than 2, I know I need to put my dot on the number 2. I know that x cannot be equal to 2 because I haven't got that little underliney symbol. So it needs to be an empty circle, which tells me that the number 2 is not included. However, I've got all the numbers greater than 2, so I can draw an arrow pointing to all my numbers greater than 2. So I know that for x is greater than 2, I can't include the number 2, but I can have 3, 4, 5, etc. Let's do another example. If x is greater than or equal to negative 2, I need a filled in dot on my negative 2 to indicate I can include that one. And then I want to include all the numbers that are greater than negative 2. So I need an arrow pointing to the higher numbers. Over to you, Year 8, in your light blue books. Can you have a go at these two examples, please, on a number line? Right, let's go through the answers. For the first one, I've got x is less than 2, but it cannot include the number 2, so I need an empty circle on the 2. And I need to indicate an arrow that says all the numbers less than 2 are included in this inequality. For the next one, I've got x is less than or equal to 2, so I need a filled in circle on negative 2. And this time we're looking at all the numbers less than negative 2. Mini whiteboards for me, Year 8. Can you show me x is greater than 3 on a number line for me? Pause the video and complete that now. Okay, so we've got x is greater than 3, so we know the dot needs to be on the 3. We know it can't be equal to 3, so it needs to be an empty circle. And we know it needs to be any of these numbers that are greater than 3. So x could be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but it cannot be 3. How about now? Show me this one on a number line. Okay, again, we need an empty circle on the 3. However, this time x is less than 3, so it could be any of these numbers. It could be 2, 1, 0, negative 1. All of those would work. Mini whiteboards, how about now? Again, we want the dot on the 3, but this time we're looking at less than or equal to 3. So we can fill it in to indicate that 3 could be included. So x could be 3, 2, 1, etc. And all of these numbers are included. How about now, Year 8? Pause the video, light blue books. Okay, this time we need the dot on the 5. We're saying x is less than or equal to 5, so it needs to be filled in because we can include the number 5. And then we're looking at all these numbers less than 5. How about now, Year 8? Pause the video, light blue books. Okay, this time we need a less than or equal to sign, but on the negative 2. And we can say that x could be negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, all of those would work. How about now, Year 8? Pause the video, off you go. Okay, this time we need the dot on the negative 2. We need to fill it in to indicate that negative 2 is included in my set of values that x could be. And x is greater than negative 2. So it's all of these values that we include. Okay, Year 8, please pause the video for 5 to 10 minutes. And in your light blue books, can you show me all of these inequalities on a number line for me? So pause the video, maybe 10-15 minutes actually, there's quite a lot of questions. In your light blue books, have a go at those questions now please. And these are the answers. Please check your work and see how you did. And finally, I've given you the number lines. Can you please show me what these inequalities are? For example, the first one, I've got an empty circle on the 1. What does that mean? And the arrow is pointing upwards. So x is greater than, but not equal to 1 in this case. So my inequality would look like that. Pause the video and work these out now please in your light blue books. And these are the answers I was looking for. Please check your work and see how you did. I've got x is greater than 1, x is less than 3, x is less than or equal to 5, x is greater than or equal to 0, x is greater than or equal to -2, x is less than -3, x is greater than -5, and x is less than or equal to -0. And finally, thinking a little deeper, if you're confident, please pause the video for 10 minutes and have a go at filling in this table. I've got 4 lines. For each one, I want the inequality, what it is on a number line, and the integer solutions to this inequality. So pause the video and have a go at filling in those gaps in your light blue books now please. And these are the answers I was looking for. Please check your work and see how you did. And that's the end of today's lesson, Year 8. Thanks very much for listening. Please head over to Google Classroom and submit today's exit ticket. Have a wonderful day and goodbye.